Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to tell an incredible and surprising story. Seraphina Delaney, during the birth of her daughter, had a near-death experience and found none other than Elvis Presley, trapped in a dark dimension. What she saw and felt defies everything we know about the fate of souls. So, before we start, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell so you don't miss any impactful stories like this. Now get ready for a journey that will move you. My name is Seraphina Delaney, and today I'm going to share with you something that completely changed my life. It's not easy to find the right words to describe what happened to me in July 2000 during the birth of my daughter. How can I explain something that challenges our entire understanding of life and death? How can I translate into simple words an experience that transcends our everyday reality? Before that day, I was an ordinary woman with ordinary fears and dreams. I worked, I had my routine, and I was living the wonderful expectation of becoming a mother for the first time. I never imagined that the birth of my daughter would not only be the beginning of her life, but also a kind of rebirth for me, a transformation that began at the most critical moment of my existence. What I'm going to tell you is not just a survival story. It is a story about crossing the veils of reality and contemplating what exists beyond this life. It's about finding beauty in the darkness and learning profound lessons in the most unexpected places. During my journey, I had surprising encounters, including one I never imagined possible, an interaction with Elvis Presley in a state that made me rethink everything I believed about the afterlife. I know that many may doubt what I am going to tell you. Some will say it was just a dream, a hallucination caused by a lack of oxygen to the brain, or simply the product of a mind in a state of extreme stress. For a long time, I myself struggled to understand and accept what happened. As a rational person, I tried to find logical explanations for every detail of my experience, but some things in life cannot be explained by logic alone. Some experiences are so profound, so transformative, that they transcend our ability to rationalize. What I experienced that day in the hospital in Savannah, Georgia, belongs to that category of experiences that challenge our normal understanding of reality. So I ask that you join me on this journey with an open mind. I'm not here to convince anyone, just to share my truth, my experience, and perhaps, through it, offer a different perspective on life, death, and what may exist beyond these concepts we know. I'm lying in the hospital bed, and the Savannah summer heat feels even more intense inside this delivery room. The contractions started several hours ago, and each one feels stronger than the last. Dr. Alice Monroe, my obstetrician, has been here since the beginning, monitoring each change with professional attention, but I can see in her eyes that something isn't progressing as it should. The clock on the wall says another hour, and it's been 15 since it all started. 15 hours of trying, of hope, of pain and waiting. My mother, Beatrice, holds my hand tightly, trying to give me courage, but I realize that she is also worried. The sound of the fetal heart monitor begins to change, and I notice a different movement among the medical team. Dr. Monroe approaches me with a serious expression I've never seen before. She says something about the baby's heart rate dropping, about needing an emergency C-section. The words seem distant, as if they are being spoken through a tunnel. My own heart races, and a strange feeling begins to take over my body. It's like something is pressing down on my chest, an invisible force that makes each breath harder than the last. I try to suck in air, but it's like my lungs have forgotten how to do it. The pressure increases, and panic begins to take over me. I look at my mother, trying to form words, but all I can do is mumble that I can't breathe. The medical team reacts quickly. I'm turned onto my side as someone places an oxygen mask on my face. The voices around me become more urgent, louder, but also more distant. The gurney starts to move, and I am quickly wheeled out of the delivery room and toward the operating room. The last thing I register is my mother's worried face as she runs beside the gurney, her silent tears reflecting the lights of the hospital hallway. Then, everything starts to go dark, and an inexplicable feeling of peace begins to wash over me. The world around me changes completely. It's like someone flipped a switch, but instead of darkness, I find a light unlike anything I've ever experienced. The pain, the fear, the pressure in your chest, it all disappears in an instant. It's hard to explain, but it's like I've become lighter than air. I open my eyes, or at least that's what I seem to do, and I come across a surreal scene. I'm looking down, seeing my own body lying on the operating table. The medical team moves urgently around me. but from where I stand, their movements seem almost choreographed, like a silent, precise dance. Dr. Monroe is focused, her hands moving expertly as she performs the C-section. I see my mother in a corner of the room, being comforted by a nurse. I want to tell her that I'm fine, that she doesn't need to worry, but I have no voice. Or rather, I have a voice, but not one that can be heard by human ears. It's fascinating how I can see everything with stunning clarity. The beads of sweat on the anesthetist's forehead, the shine of the surgical tools under the bright lights, the steam coming off the medical staff's masks as they breathe. Every detail is sharp, more real than anything I've seen before. The strangest thing is that I don't feel scared. I should be terrified to see my own body from up there, to realize that I have somehow separated myself from it. But instead I feel a deep and inexplicable peace. It's as if you finally understand that we are more than just our physical bodies, that there is something beyond this material reality that we know. I float through the environment with a freedom I have never experienced before. There are no physical limits. There are no weights. There are no restrictions. I observe the movement below me as if I were watching a film in 3 dimensions, but a film where I know all the characters intimately, where every detail has a special meaning. The sensation is of being completely present, and at the same time completely detached from the scene. It's as if I have found a new state of existence, where earthly concerns no longer matter, where there is only this deep peace and a calm curiosity about what is to come. From my elevated position, I witness the most extraordinary moment, the birth of my daughter. Dr. Monroe gently removes it from my body, and it is a vision that transcends any earthly experience. My little one appears enveloped in a type of light that I have never seen before, an aura that seems to dance and pulse around her. The experienced hands of the medical team welcome her, and I watch her every movement with surprising clarity. I can see how her small body glows with a vital energy of its own, a light that seems to connect her to something greater than us all. It is a love that transcends the physical, something so pure and profound that it seems to be part of the very fabric of the universe. As the team works to make sure she's okay, I notice how every person in the room is connected by invisible strands of power. It's as if you can see the connections between us all, a delicate web of light that unites us at such a significant moment. Dr. Monroe with her skilled hands, the nurses with their precise movements, my mother with her silent prayers, they are all part of a larger cosmic dance. My own body is still there, inert on the operating table, while the team works hard to keep me alive. It's strange to watch it with such detachment, to see the joint effort to save that physical shell that, at this moment, seems so far from who I really am. I see the devices, the monitors, the needles, the medications being administered, all with a calm curiosity. Time seems to flow differently in this state. I can't tell if seconds or hours have passed since I started floating up here. Each moment expands and contracts in ways impossible to measure by our normal standards. The only constant is this feeling of absolute peace and expanded awareness that allows me to observe it all. And then, something starts to change. I feel a kind of pull, as if a gentle but insistent force is pulling me to the left side of the room. It is not a physical sensation as we know it, but something more subtle, deeper. It's as if space itself begins to fold around me, inviting me into a new phase of this extraordinary journey. The transition is smooth, like walking through a curtain made of light. I leave the operating room behind and find myself in a space that defies earthly description. It's like being immersed in an ocean of white light, but not a light that hurts your eyes. It is a welcoming, lively, pulsating luminosity. All around me, particles of light dance like millions of microscopic stars. They have different tones and intensities, some denser, others more subtle, creating patterns that seem to contain all the knowledge of the universe. It's as if each particle is an infinite library of wisdom, waiting to be discovered. In this environment, my consciousness expands in ways I never imagined possible. The answers to questions you didn't even know you had begin to flow naturally, as if they were always there, just waiting to be perceived. I understand with crystal clarity that everything is connected in an infinite fabric of love and consciousness. Time does not exist here in the same way we know it. Every moment seems to contain eternities, and yet everything happens in an eternal now. There is no past or future, just this infinite present where all possibilities exist simultaneously. It's as if you can touch the very essence of existence. I feel part of something much bigger than myself, The boundaries that normally define where I end and the rest of the universe begins dissolve. It is a feeling of absolute unity, of total belonging. Here, I understand that we are all different manifestations of the same fundamental energy, the same universal love. The deepest truths about existence are revealed not through words or thoughts, but through direct and immediate understanding. It is as if every cell of my being can absorb knowledge directly from the source of life. I realize that love is not just a feeling, but the very force that holds the universe together. In this realm of light, there is no fear, there is no doubt. There is just a deep, unshakable certainty that everything is exactly as it should be. Every experience we have, every choice we make, every moment of joy or pain is part of a bigger plan, more perfect than our human mind could comprehend. Amid this environment of light and infinite understanding, something unexpected happens. A familiar figure begins to materialize before me, but in a way I never imagined I would see. It's Elvis Presley, but not the Elvis the world knew in life. This version of him is shrouded in a kind of dark fog, a dense, heavy energy that contrasts drastically with the light that surrounds me. I watch him with a mixture of fascination and compassion. The king of rock, a figure so beloved by millions, seems trapped in a self-imposed prison of sadness and regret. His aura, which should shine with the intensity of his art and the love of his fans, is clouded by shadows of unresolved addictions and unhealed hurts. The energy that emanates from him is heavy, full of unprocessed feelings in life. I can feel your internal struggles, your unwinnable battles, your deep regrets. It's as if every difficult choice he made in life, every moment of unresolved pain, has crystallized into this dark form that keeps him trapped. There are no words being exchanged, but communication happens on a much deeper level. I feel your sadness, your loneliness, the weight of a life lived in the spotlight but without true connection to yourself. It's a powerful lesson about how the choices we make and the feelings we hold can affect us far beyond this life. The contrast between the light that surrounds me and the darkness that surrounds him is shocking. It is as if you are witnessing two different realities coexisting in the same space, one of liberation and transcendence, the other of imprisonment and stagnation. I understand with painful clarity that our spiritual state does not depend on our fame or earthly accomplishments, but rather on our ability to process, forgive, and transcend our experiences. This vision of Elvis serves as a wake-up call, a powerful reminder that we must resolve our issues while we have the chance. Every unforgiven hurt, every unsolved addiction, every harbored resentment can become a chain that binds us even after we leave our physical body. It's a revelation that makes me deeply question how I'm living my own life and what kind of spiritual baggage I'm creating. After meeting Elvis, I am drawn to an area where the light begins to dim. A small glow at the beginning expands into a dense, enveloping fog. Upon entering this space, I immediately feel a shift in the energy around me. It's as if you've dived into dark, icy waters. In this dark dimension, I notice the presence of beings that seem to feed on the darkness itself. They have no defined shape. They are like denser shadows within the darkness. I feel like they are starting to get closer to me, and with each approach, it is as if they are sucking a little of my vital energy. The feeling is distressing. It is as if each of these beings is hungry for light, for life, for positive energy. The closer they get, the more I feel my own essence diminishing, as if it is slowly being drained. It's an experience of extreme vulnerability, where I feel like I could completely lose myself. In the midst of this disturbing experience, I hear something that passes through me like a ray of hope, a boy's voice. It's a distant but clear call for help. The voice is pure, innocent, drastically contrasting with the density of the environment in which I find myself. The desperation in his tone touches me deeply. I try to move towards the voice, but the dark beings seem to intensify their efforts to keep me there. It's a constant struggle between the desire to help and the force that pulls me down. Each movement towards the boy's voice requires immense effort, as if swimming against a powerful current. The darkness seems to become even denser, and the beings become more greedy for energy. I feel myself shrinking more and more, as if my very essence is being slowly consumed. It's an overwhelming feeling of helplessness, where every attempt to escape seems to weaken me even more. The boy's voice continues, now more distant, as if he were getting lost in the vastness of this dark dimension. I want to help him. I need to help him. But every moment I feel my strength slipping away. It's a battle between compassion and survival, between the desire to help and the need to preserve myself. Suddenly, as if a greater force had intervened, I was ripped out of that dark dimension and found myself in a completely different scenario. It's as if you've emerged from a nightmare into the most beautiful of dreams. Before me stretches an infinite field of yellow flowers, under a sky of such intense blue that it seems to pulsate with a life of its own. The contrast with the previous darkness is striking. Here, each element seems to radiate its own light. Green hills stretch as far as the eye can see, gently undulating like a velvet sea. A waterfall cascades down moss-covered rocks, its crystal-clear waters creating soft, mesmerizing music as it meets the river below. In this place, the feeling of unity with everything is overwhelming. I can feel life pulsing in every flower, in every leaf, in every drop of water. There is no separation between me and the environment around me. It is as if every element of this paradise is an extension of my own being, and I am an extension of it. The air here has a different quality. It's not just air that I breathe. It's as if I'm breathing pure love, absolute peace. Each inspiration fills me with a revitalizing, healing energy. The colors are more vivid than anything I've ever seen on Earth, as if they are being viewed through a filter that reveals their true essence. The waterfall is not just water falling over rocks. It is a manifestation of eternal movement, of constant change with impermanence. The sound it produces is not just noise. It is a perfect symphony that seems to contain all the music in the universe. Flowers are not just plants. They are expressions of pure beauty, each containing within itself the entire mystery of creation. Floating in this space, I feel a deep connection to something greater, something that transcends any human understanding. It's as if you can touch the very essence of existence, understand the purpose of everything without needing words or explanations. Here, all questions find their answers in silence, in the simple contemplation of the perfection that surrounds me. In the midst of this paradise of perfection, two luminous beings manifest themselves before me. They do not have a defined human shape, but appear wrapped in cloaks of a soft beige tone that seem to radiate their own light. Your presence brings with it an even deeper wave of peace, if that is possible in this already serene place. Communicating with these beings is completely different from anything I have ever experienced. There are no words being exchanged, no sounds being made. It is a form of communication that happens through pure feelings, instant understanding. Each message is like a wave of love and wisdom that passes through me, bringing with it profound knowledge. They show me, through this silent communication, that I am faced with an important choice. I can choose to remain in this place of infinite peace. I can choose to explore other yet unknown dimensions, or I can return to my earthly life. There is no judgment in their presence, just an unconditional love that supports whatever decision I make. As I consider my options, they share with me profound wisdom about the importance of love and forgiveness. They show me how the hurts we carry can become spiritual prisons, just like I saw with Elvis. They reveal how each act of true love creates waves of positive energy that expand across the universe, affecting much more than we can imagine. The presence of these beings is both comforting and majestic. There is something familiar about them, as if I have known them forever, but also something completely transcendent, that goes beyond any earthly experience. They exude an ancient wisdom, a knowledge that seems to encompass all of existence. In a moment of absolute clarity, I understand that my newborn daughter needs me, that I still have a lot to learn and share on the earthly plane. Beings seem to smile with this understanding, not with physical smiles, but with an emanation of approval and love that fills the entire space around us. Before I leave, they convey one last important message to me. True spiritual evolution lies in living a life guided by love and the release of sorrows. It's a powerful reminder of what I saw in the dark dimension, a warning about the importance of resolving our issues while we have the opportunity. The transition back starts smoothly, but quickly intensifies. It's like being pulled by an invisible thread, crossing dimensions at a speed impossible to measure. The colors of paradise begin to dissipate, and the feeling of absolute peace is gradually replaced by increasingly intense physical sensations. The first thing I feel is a sharp pain in my chest, as if every nerve in my body is awakening simultaneously. The air rushes into my lungs, and it's a strangely uncomfortable feeling after having experienced an existence where there was no need to breathe. My physical senses return one by one, each bringing with it a new wave of intense sensations. The sounds of the hospital fill my ears again, the constant beeping of heart monitors, worried voices around me, the noise of medical equipment. It's a cacophony that contrasts drastically with the perfect harmony I just left behind. The artificial light of the hospital seems harsh and artificial compared to the soft, vivid light of the other plane. I try to open my eyes, but my eyelids feel too heavy. Every movement, no matter how small, requires immense effort. It's as if I'm relearning how to inhabit my own body, rediscovering how to control every muscle, every limb. The simple act of breathing requires conscious concentration. There is an inexplicable feeling of emptiness, as if part of me was still in that other dimension. It is a feeling of loss, of longing for something that cannot be completely translated into words. At the same time, I feel a deep connection with my physical body, a gratitude for this vehicle that allows me to experience earthly life. The voices around me become clearer. I hear the medical team discussing my condition, talking about the cardiorespiratory arrest I suffered. I feel gentle hands adjusting tubes and monitors, checking my vitals. Each touch is a new discovery, a reconnection with the physical world I momentarily left behind. As my consciousness fully returns to my physical body, I feel transformed in a way that words cannot fully express. The experience I have just had is not just a memory. It is a fundamental shift in the way I understand life, death, and everything in between. The images remain vivid in my mind. The field of yellow flowers under that intense blue sky, the beings of light with their beige robes, the impactful vision of Elvis in his state of spiritual imprisonment, and that dense darkness populated by dark beings. Each element of this journey brought with it a profound lesson about the importance of love, forgiveness, and releasing the hurt we carry. Now, lying in this hospital bed, reconnecting with my physical body, I understand that I have been given not only a second chance at life, but also a precious gift, the understanding that we are so much more than our physical bodies, that our choices and feelings have consequences that transcend this earthly existence. I can hear the doctors talking about the 36 hours I was in a coma, about the cardiorespiratory arrest I suffered during the birth. For them, it's medical data, numbers in a medical record. For me, they are milestones on a journey that completely changed my perspective on existence. I feel an urgency to share this experience, not because I seek validation or convince anyone, but because I understand that these revelations are not just for me. They are a reminder that each of us has the power to choose how to live, how to love, how to forgive. They are a testimony that there is something much greater awaiting us beyond this physical reality. My daughter, who I have not yet met in person, but who I saw born from a unique perspective, will always be a symbol of this transformation. Through her, life gifted me not only with motherhood, but with a deeper understanding of unconditional love and the connection that unites all beings. This is my story, my truth, an experience that showed me that death is not an end but a transition, and that love is the most powerful force in the universe, capable of transcending dimensions, healing wounds, and illuminating even the deepest darkness. If you liked this beautiful spiritual testimony, leave a like, comment on your impressions, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to activate the notification bell to watch each new video and help us spread this message to a greater number of people. Until next time.